What's happened this year?
I quit my job.
Why did you do so?
No, I want to be at my very best level.
Za kilka miesięcy zawieszam swoją pracę i będę profesjonalnym sportowcem.
The month after I quit the job, then I felt like, whoa, this is the best training month I ever had.
They've both quit their jobs to perform better at the Golden Trail World Series. A better performance means more money, which can make up for the salary you're missing out on. That doesn't make it easy though. That additional pressure is going to weigh on you no matter what happens.
My name is Stian Angermund, and I'm running for Team Salomon, and I come from Norway. In the last years, I had several races there where I think I've done good, but after the race I had the feeling I can do a little bit better. And I think that started back in 2018.
And Stian Angermund takes 4th place here in Zegama. Not quite as fast as...
It will be another 4th place here for Stian Angermund at the 2019...
He will finish 4th here in Italy.
Unbelievable! Stian is in 4th position at Ring of Steel, Wimbledon, and the first stage of the Gold Trail Championship.
Another 4th place, unbelievable!
Bartłomiej Przedwojewski z Polski, zawodnik teamu Salomon.
Bart has been really strong during the first 2 stages. He's taken 2nd in the first, and first he won the 2nd stage. Now Bart has smashed stage 3 and he's in the lead overall. He's unstoppable.
Yes! And the 2020 Golden Trail champion, Bart Przedwojewski.
Po zwycięstwie w ostatnim sezonie w biegu Golden Trail Championship w tym roku chcę awansować do biegu finałowego Golden Trail World Series i walczyć tam o pierwsze miejsce.
I'm a person that are often scared to make decisions. So for me, I knew a long time before I made the decision that I wanted to make that decision. But I got a lot of help from my girlfriend, like to make me believe in myself. And when I made the decision, that was just amazing. I was like, yes, this is the right thing to do. When it comes to income, I always felt like a pressure, I think, come from myself that I have to work, and to just run around in the mountain is not like work. So I think I started maybe, was it 7 or 8 years ago? I went from 100% down to 80 and felt so bad. Like I didn't do anything good for society, just like running around that one day per week. And then my cousin helped me a lot with saying that is it's actually my job to run there in the mountain. And then I started like 5 years ago in working in the store. And there I went down to 60%, and that felt also very good. But it's been very hard to work in that store for me, just standing up all day. So now in Easter, I quit that job and become more professional. Then I start coaching online, and yeah, it feels very good. I have more time to recover, take recovery, and the legs feels just better and better.
I think Stian make the good choice to quit his job and to move as a coach. It will help him to be more focused on his competition, being able to work whenever he wants and from wherever he wants.
For this season, I really hope to come back to the level that I believe I can have, that I believe I have in me. So, and I think I'm in very good shape for this season.
Przed biegiem Ola Denuria czuję się bardzo dobrze. Czuję się, że wykonałem dobrą robotę przed tym biegiem i myślę, że mogę powalczyć o pierwsze miejsce.
The course looks very interesting. I like when it's like shorter and intense. And the challenge there is in high altitude. But my girlfriend and I, we will go there 2 weeks before the event, and that is in 1800 meters altitude, and I think I will be good acclimatized for that race.
Welcome everyone to Ola de Nuria for the first stop of the Golden Trail World Series 2021.
Today's race started super fast. Nadir Maged is leading the pack, and we're very excited to see what's going to happen.
Unless you're winning absolutely everything, there isn't a huge amount of money in trail running. You've still got to get to these places and pay for flights and accommodation. So most athletes have jobs that they have to fit their training and their racing around. If though you can go full time, it's a huge advantage. Not only can you train harder, but you can rest properly. And being able to get to a race early gives you a distinct knowledge of the course, and that means you can race harder and perform better on race day.
In Ola de Nuria, I was so happy to win. It was this is the first time I actually win a Golden Trail Series race. I had many very good results, but never managed to get like on the top. So that was fun.
We are all so happy for him because he is coming from many years of fourth place. So he stepped up to the victory, and we really hope it will continue like that for the next races.
Po Ola de Nuria nie byłem zadowolony, dlatego że dużo pracowałem i nie miałem możliwości przygotować się do wysokości. Jestem szczęśliwy, że zawiesiłem swoją pracę, ponieważ teraz mogę jechać ze swoją dziewczyną, ze swoim psem w Alpy, tam trenować i przygotowywać się do kolejnych biegów. Jutro odbywa się maraton du Mont Blanc, robota została zrobiona. Cieszę się, że biegnie jest na dużej wysokości, bo nie muszę się martwić o aklimatyzację.
I think every race is different, so when I now go to the next one in Marathon Mont Blanc, you just start like all over again, and then we'll see. But it's good to have a feeling that the body is working well, and I feel I'm in good shape. So I believe I can do very good this year. But what if good is winning this series or being top 5? I don't know. We'll see.
At each race in the season, the top 5 athletes win €1,000, but they're really eyeing up the finals because that's where the big money is. The winners take home €10,000, and the total prize fund for the whole season is €160,000.
But I start to feel nervous, something I not too often do before races because I'm way too relaxed. So when I feel starting to feel nervous, then I perform better. So yeah, for me, like the more nervous I can be, the better.
Welcome back to the Golden Trail World Series. The Mont Blanc Marathon is on here in the Valley of Chamonix.
That's right, and this year the course runs in the opposite direction, yet it still features the 42 kilometers with 2,000...
Stian's just showed that when you quit your job, your results improve. So it's going to be really interesting to see whether Bart does the same. He's just quit. Are his results going to get better as well?
The Mont Blanc Marathon is a race that I've done many times now. I think the first time was back in 2016. And I've done it like every year since that, except last year, of course. But this year they will change the course. So we'll run opposite on, I think it's called Angermund. So that means it's the uphill is technical and the downhill is way less technical. I think that's the tricky part, to run fast downhill on gravel and not destroy your legs, because you can run super fast there, but then it will be hard to finish the race.
Czułem się bardzo mocno, realizowałem swoją taktykę, chciałem zachować jak najwięcej energii na drugą część dystansu. Na pierwszy szczyt wbiegłem za Davidem i Stianem i tam zdecydowałem się zaatakować.
Barty was running like so fast in the downhill from Angermund it's called, and it was hard to follow him. I really wanted to do it, but like for me, if I run too fast in the downhill, then I will be struggling to run up again. And we had like quite much uphill after that downhill. So I wanted to follow Bart, but he was like pushing too hard for me. So then Bart just went off.
Starałem się na zbiegu zrobić jak największą przewagę nad Davidem i Stianem, ale zbieg był zbyt łatwy technicznie, żeby zrobić przewagę nad nimi.
like around at Valorsien, I was catching up with Bart and managed to get a gap, and then I won. So yeah, happy with that. When I crossed the finish line after Mont Blanc, it was like, whoa. Like, I never won a Golden Trail Series race before, and I won 2 in a row. Like, this is just too good to be true. It was a good feeling.
I'm back.
Seeing Stian win this year is really big news, especially after so long off the podium. But there is a rumour that his girlfriend's pregnant. I don't know how true those are, but I mean, that'll be even bigger news.
Yeah, it's not that what have happened, but it was something that will happen in a month, around a month. Then I will become a dad for the first time. So that'll be awesome. Then we get a little girl. I have trying to plan the season so that I do 3 Golden Trail Series races now before I will become a dad. And then I have no idea how it will be to be a dad. So I think it's good to do some races now, and then we'll see what happens in August. When I'm at the DoloMyths, I have to go home so fast afterwards. And I'm always bringing my phone. So if she calls, I'm going on the first flight home. So maybe I'm not running the DoloMyths. If she calls, then I'm going home.
Obecnie jestem na 2-letnim bezpłatnym urlopie w pracy, więc mogę być teraz profesjonalnym sportowcem, profesjonalnym biegaczem. Dlatego po maraton du Mont Blanc pojechaliśmy do Livigno, zaaklimatyzować się do wysokości, ponieważ mój kolejny bieg odbywał się w DoloMythach, który był wysoko w górach, i musiałem się przygotować, zaaklimatyzować do wysokości, żeby rywalizować z czołówką.
The DoloMyths Run goes to over 3,000 meters above sea level. Pisboe is 3,100 meters, so altitude is going to be a massive factor in this race. For the first time though, both Bart and Stian have had an equal amount of time to train for altitude, so it's going to be a really close race for them, but it's never that easy on Golden Trail. Guess who's coming? Fred Tranchand.
Well, Pau, only a few knew about his achievements in orienteering, but clearly nobody could have predicted the French orienteer Fred Tranchand would take the win on this first stage of the Golden Trail Championships 2020.
Yes, Martin, and what a pleasant surprise. And that sure.
My name is Frederic Tranchand. I'm from France, and I'm representing Scott Running.
Following a great performance at the championship last year, we're pretty excited to see how he can do in a classic trail race.
My background before trail running is mostly from orienteering. So I have done it from when I was pretty young, and I have been really focused on it and committed the last at least 10 years. And last year, 2020, when the international orienteering season was cancelled, then I found it like an opportunity to do other sports.
Well, in 2020, Fred Tranchand came from the orienteering to the trail running season, and he really showed his potential, starting with the Sierre Sinal, where he was second after Kilian, and then of course at the championship finale, his performances were quite impressive. So of course we were very interested in his profile. My name is Florian Schönberger, and I'm the athlete team manager for the Scott Running team.
Podczas biegu w Canazei to będzie pierwszy bieg Fredrika. Frederic wygrał ze mną podczas pierwszego biegu Golden Trail Championship i na pewno nie odpuszczę mu teraz podczas kolejnego biegu.
Welcome to the DoloMyths Run here in the DoloMyths. Everyone is getting ready to give it all for the third stop of the Golden Trail World Series.
That's right, Pau. I'm super excited. Third stage, ready to go, and the race is on. DoloMyths Run is one of the shortest races of the season, only 22k long, 10k uphill, 12k downhill, altogether 1,700 of elevation gain. But this year,
For 2021, my idea was to focus mostly on orienteering until the World Champs, which was last week only, and then switch to trail running. Before the orienteering World Champs in Czech Republic, I felt quite confident with the physical part, technical part, because I thought this terrain could suit me quite well. But at the first race of the World Championship, which was a sprint distance, I fall down already in the beginning of the course and injured my knee quite badly.
The race started at a rapid pace as usual, but quite quickly Fred was off the back of the lead group and then started to lose touch. He's too good to be doing that, so his injury must be worse than expected, which is such a shame. To come into a new sport and have all that potential, to have injury stop you is the worst thing possible.
In sport or for athletes, injuries are probably the worst thing that can happen. And even though you have prepared the best you can do, and then you come to the championship or the main goal of the season and there you get injured, so that can be a really big disappointment.
We're about mid-race, and what's going on with Fred right now?
Yes, Martin, this is surely not where we're expecting him to be. It looks like he's still dragging his injury from the orienteering champs.
In this overall series, I think maybe I'm one of the favorites, but there are also many other strong runners like Davide, Nadir, Bartolomei, and maybe Jan Margaret will. He said like he's felt stronger, so he can also do very, very good. I guess there's so many people that really want to go for the win in this race. So of course I want to win. We were running, as most of the other races, we were running very fast out from the start. And then Remy and Elosin managed to get a gap of the rest of us. And I think I was on Forcella Podoi, I was number 5 or 6 up there.
Na szczyt dobiegłem zaraz za Dawidem Anim i za Stianem i cieszyłem się, że to już jest koniec podbiegu, że jesteśmy na górze, że nie mam tak dużej straty do chłopaków i wiedziałem, że będą mieć problemy, bo jestem dobrym biegaczem w dół i że lada moment mogę ich złapać.
Oh, looks like Bart is making a move. He was going absolutely mental in the descent.
Yes, and now Stian is also in beast mode, followed by Thibaut and Remy.
He has to catch Elusin if he wants to score another win this
It's
year.
really surprising to see Stian overtake so many people on the downhill. Came into the sport with a huge reputation for climbing. He's a vertical kilometre champion, but he's clearly now got the tools to attack all the way to the bottom.
When we really start downhill, there I passed Remy and get a gap on him. And then I saw Elosin far down in the valley. And I just went as fast as I could and managed to catch up with him before the end of the technical part. So I was, when I was able to get the gap on Elosin and was running towards the finish, then one of the camera bikers catch up with me and said like the gap was big enough to win. And then that was a weird feeling, like to win 2 over 2 in Marathon Mont Blanc was like, yes, this is so fantastic. And then win a 3 over 3, that should not be possible. And then when I quit my job, then I get more time for doing better training and recover better. But I don't think that solved everything. Like I think the happiness with the time I have with my girlfriend, that's matter more. So, but I guess those two together is a big reason why I did so well in this year and also were so motivated.
Stian became the best athlete this year because he changed his training plan, but also because he quit his job and have a different approach of the life this year with his family. And having a baby, it gives you really wings to fly over the races and win everything. This is certainly the biggest strength you can have.
Stian seems to have been blessed by the gods this year to quit your job and then win 3 out of 3. He's going to become a dad. He's had 2 years of real struggle. So this year, wow, He should be buying a lottery ticket. He's going to win. Fred, on the other hand, is almost the reverse. He's had no luck. He was in the form of his life going into the orienteering World Champs. So to get injured early into that, and that follow through to the trail running season, is really harsh. Thankfully, he's still got 3 opportunities to qualify, but he's going to have to run pretty perfectly because he can't make any mistakes.
Right now, I feel much better. I think my knee is not bothering me too much, but still I feel a little bit limited and maybe a little bit of lack of training. Well, we will see how it goes for Sierzinal, but for sure I will do my best.
At this point in the season, the runners who've done well aren't necessarily coming to Chiemgau because it's a marathon and they don't need the points for the amount of damage that distance could do to them. But for Bart, he's not won yet and he doesn't need the points, but he wants to remind people that he was the winner. We've also not seen Fred perform at his best because he's had an injury and he's had a bit more time to recover. So he needs the points, but also this could be the battle of last season, Fred against Bart. I still think Bart's got the advantage and Bart has got more of the passion and less of the doubt. But both of them could win it.
In the past, I have had some injuries in the summer, and I remember I have had quite many years where I had some injuries in the summer at the very wrong time, but still managed to do very well after somehow. At least have some success. And this year it seems that it's a bit difficult. I believe that if I continue, if I train well, if I do the things well, I will just move on. I will try even harder the next race and let's see how it goes.
And the Chiemgau Trail Run is on for the 5th top.
Bart has not reached the level he had last year yet. He has done a long and hard training in Livigno during 1 month to prepare Germany. So I can't wait to see him coming back to his best level soon.
Jestem tutaj w Chiemgau i pomimo tego, że mam zapewniony start w finale, to dla mnie liczy się walka tylko i wyłącznie o zwycięstwo w cyklu i muszę zmniejszyć stratę punktów do Stiana, który ma ich 300.
Almost at the top of the first uphill. Then Francisco and his friend, I didn't realize then, but they lost their shoes in the mud. And I just passed them, and then they were slight downhill, and there I was running pretty fast and understood I was in the lead, so I had a lot of endorphin. So it felt really well, and then I felt, okay, now I'm back in business.
Na szczycie pierwszego podbiegu byłem na 3. pozycji razem z Eluzin i jeszcze wtedy widzieliśmy Freda, który na zbiegu systematycznie robił nad nami przewagę.
And Fred is starting to fade.
Yes, and Elozine was also bonking really hard.
Bart's been training specifically for this race, so we can expect him to make a move now. In this
When they passed me on the uphill, I was a little bit disappointed, of course, that first that they passed me, so I was not in the lead anymore, but also that I couldn't even follow them. And also I was a little bit unconfident that I would make it to the end at that point. But of course, I was quite close to the top. So when I made to the top, I thought, okay, now I will make it to the finish. And if I'm third, it's okay. And yeah, I was very happy to be third for sure.
Razem z Francesco dogoniliśmy Freda, który nie wyglądał za dobrze przed drugim szczytem. Na szczycie byłem razem z Francesco i wiedziałem, że w trudnym terenie muszę zrobić nad nim przewagę i dotrzymać ją do końca.
Bart is always motivated until the end of the season, and October is really his month. You know, in 2018, he won the Orienteer Trail in October. In 2019, he was sick in Nepal, In 2020, he won the Azores in October. And this year, again in October, it's El Hierro. And I'm sure he will give his best because he really wants to win the series again.
Na początku cieszyłem się, że dotrwałem do mety i później cieszyłem się z tego, że pomimo ciężkiej pierwszej części sezonu wygrałem ten bieg i to sprawiło mi dużo szczęścia.
Fred is a very humble, very sincere type of athlete. He's down to earth. I think he's sometimes too shy to really get out of his potential. He could do way more than he is capable of. And you could see it at Chiemgau. After he made the podium, you could really see that he's exploding. He needs this confidence. And Chiemgau, the 4th position, really gave him this. I'm happy that it finally happened.
All eyes are on Judith coming back from pregnancy, but expectations are high in general. Judith, Maud, Rachel, and other athletes all competing together for the first time.
Laying in the hospital bed, I started to feel really dizzy. I couldn't see on my right side.
When people die, it just makes you rethink what you care about and how you want to spend your time.
She is able to push her to the pain for having the best results as possible.
You live and you learn, and you just look forward to the next one.